Have you ever looked at your own life and thought, I'm not strong enough, not smart enough, not brave enough? Have you ever felt your flaws so deeply that they seem to define you, trap you, even shame you? You're not alone. In fact, almost everyone carries silent weaknesses. Some are visible, like shyness, physical limitations, financial struggles. Others are hidden, like self-doubt, fear of rejection, or the weight of past mistakes. And most of us believe these weaknesses are curses, things to be ashamed of, things that make us less than others. But what if I told you there's a hidden philosophy that flips this idea upside down? That weakness isn't the end of your story, but the beginning of your true strength. You see, history, psychology, and philosophy all point to the same strange truth. The very thing you think makes you powerless can become the exact thing that gives you power. Think about it. Every legend, every great transformation begins not with perfection, but with brokenness. Why? Because weakness humbles us. It forces us to confront reality. It cracks open the walls of ego and reveals truths strength often hides. And within those cracks, light enters. This video is about that hidden light, the kind of strength that isn't about muscles or dominance or control, but about transformation. Turning wounds into wisdom, turning flaws into fuel, turning weakness into power. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you might just see your weakness as the most powerful part of you. Most people think strength means having no weakness. Society teaches us this from childhood. Be confident, be successful, be perfect. Hide your flaws, show no cracks, smile even when you're breaking. But let's pause. Is that really strength, or is it performance? Think about someone you've admired deeply, not just for their achievements, but for their humanity. Was it their perfection that moved you? Or was it their honesty about their struggles? Here's the paradox. What we call weakness often creates the deepest human connection. When you admit your fear, your pain, your flaws, others don't turn away. They lean in, because they see themselves in you. Psychologist Carl Rogers once said, "What is most personal is most universal." Your weakness, when shared authentically, becomes a bridge. The mask of strength separates us, but the honesty of weakness brings us closer. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who always tried to be strong. He never asked for help. He never admitted when he was hurting. To the world he looked confident and composed, but inside he felt isolated. The more strong he appeared, the lonelier he became. One day, overwhelmed, he confessed his struggles to a close friend. He expected judgment, maybe even rejection. But instead, his friend said, "I thought I was the only one who felt that way." In that moment, he realized his weakness wasn't a wall, it was a doorway. This is the first hidden gift of weakness. It reveals truth. It strips away illusion. It reminds us that to be human is not to be flawless, but to be fragile. And in that fragility lies honesty, humility, and connection. If you think about it, everything we learn, everything we become, begins with weakness. A child cannot walk. Their weakness forces them to try, to stumble, to fall. And through falling, they learn balance. A student does not know. Their ignorance pushes them to study, to ask questions, to grow. A heart that has never broken cannot truly understand compassion. Weakness is not the opposite of strength. It is the soil where strength grows. Yet most of us hide our weaknesses, bury them, pretend they don't exist. We do this because we're afraid. Afraid to be judged, afraid to fail, afraid to be less. But here's the secret. Hiding weakness only makes it stronger. Facing it, using it, that's where transformation begins. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi. When a ceramic bowl breaks, instead of hiding the cracks, artisans fill them with gold. The brokenness doesn't make the bowl worthless. It makes it unique, even more valuable. The cracks become part of its story. Now imagine if you treated your weaknesses like that, not as scars to hide, but as golden lines of your life's design. Every limitation you face pushes you into creativity. Every failure humbles you into wisdom. Every insecurity drives you toward empathy. Without weakness, there would be no growth, no beauty, no depth. So here's the challenge. Instead of asking, "How do I hide my weakness?" ask, "What is this weakness teaching me? Where is it leading me?" Because weakness, when embraced, doesn't diminish you, it shapes you. Throughout history, philosophers have wrestled with weakness. Some saw it as shameful, something to conquer, but others, like Nietzsche, saw weakness as the birthplace of transformation. Nietzsche famously said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." But deeper than that, he argued that suffering, limitation, and weakness could create a more profound kind of strength, what he called the will to power. But let's clear something up. This isn't about domination over others. It's about mastery over yourself. Weakness forces you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. It strips away illusions of control, and in that stripping, it gives you a choice: stay broken or rebuild stronger. History is full of people who turned weakness into power. Helen Keller, born blind and deaf, became a voice for millions. Frida Kahlo, plagued with illness and pain, turned her suffering into art that still moves the world. What's their secret? They didn't deny their weakness. They didn't wait for it to disappear. They used it. This is the hidden philosophy. Weakness is raw energy. Left untouched, it imprisons you. Transformed, it empowers you. And here's the question for you. What if the very thing you hate about yourself is the seed of your greatest strength? When you think of power, what comes to mind? Wealth, control, influence. But think of the moments in your life when you felt most alive, most human. Chances are they weren't moments of dominance, but of connection. And connection doesn't come from pretending to be flawless. It comes from revealing weakness. Why? Because weakness is universal. We all fail, we all hurt, we all fear. When you share that truth, you tap into something deeper than strength. You tap into humanity, and from that place, weakness becomes purpose. Take Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of concentration camps. His suffering, his weakness, became the foundation of his life's work, helping others find meaning in pain. He once wrote, "Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds meaning. Your weakness, too, can become someone else's hope. Your struggles, when shared, remind others they are not alone. Your scars can be maps for someone else's healing, and that is power, the kind of power that doesn't fade with age, money, or status. A power that comes from the heart." Now comes the question, how do you turn weakness into power in your own life? The first step is awareness. Stop pretending your weakness doesn't exist. Name it. Own it. What you deny controls you. What you accept, you can transform. The second step is reflection. Ask, what has this weakness taught me? How has it shaped me? What new strengths has it forced me to develop? The third step is action. Don't just hide behind your weakness. Use it. Channel it into creativity, empathy, resilience. Let it guide you to the places where you can grow. And finally, the most important step, share it. Don't bury your scars. Show them. Tell your story. Because your weakness, once transformed, doesn't just give you strength, it gives strength to others. Most people spend their lives ashamed of their flaws, pretending to be strong. But the hidden philosophy says otherwise. Strength isn't the absence of weakness. Strength is the transformation of weakness. So I ask you, what weakness have you been running from? And what would happen if you stopped running, turned around and embraced it? Maybe, just maybe, you'd find that your weakness was never weakness at all. It was your greatest source of power.